one of the topics that's come up today, and a lot of speculation about this, was Rio Ferdinand. His name has been connected with the position. It'll be a newly created position of technical director or sporting director at Manchester United. Do you think, Richie, he would be a good choice for that role?
No.
Okay, why?
I suppose, first of all, tease out what does the role involve. Like a technical,
what's your understanding?
Can be quite vague. So are you overseeing the scouting, the medical department, the coaching? Do you hire and fire the manager? Is it your role? Is the transfer activity your ultimate responsibility? Everything that goes on in the training ground, are you overseeing everything in the academy? Like the personality, forget expertise and knowledge and all of that stuff. Like the personality required to coordinate all those departments. And then, like, is he negotiating contracts? So is he in the room with the top agents of Europe, with the CEOs and the owners of the biggest European clubs? Is it his opinion on transfer? Like, what's his track record? Like, in what jobs has he done in the past? Even, like, has he done any other job other than be a footballer and a pundit? I'm sure he's business interests elsewhere, but jobs that you could say, oh, well, yeah, this went well, so I can see why he's getting one of the biggest jobs in one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's not taking over at Millwall. Like, this is Manchester United, who
don't have a sporting director, and like say Overmars is performing that role at Ajax. Now look, it's a newly created position. I suppose Didi, he can put whatever he wants in there. One of the big things that I've read is that they want to have a link between, or they want that person, as well as all the other functions, to be the kind of bridge between the manager and the chief executive.
Well, I'm not sure whether he'd go in to keep the lads happy. You know, if he goes in there, he would want some responsibility, and to give it to somebody who's got no experience when it comes to these things, Avi Rich, I think it's a huge risk, and it shouldn't be a criteria whether you play for the club. Yes, it's good if you have some track record, if you know the club, if you know the people, but I think sometimes at the same time it can be a hindrance because you may know them too well, and giving people jobs on the basis that they've been players there, I think is doomed.
But Richard, this seems to be a kind of common theme that's popping up at Manchester United at the moment, that, you know, when they're talking about even the sporting director, they want a former player, somebody, I've heard this comment, somebody who knows the club. Like, I don't know, maybe things have gone so poorly over the last number of years since Ferguson left that with Solskjaer they wanted to try and bring somebody in who knew the place, and the same with the sporting director. But do you think, is that clever? Is that wise?
I think the problem United have is the CEO. You know, he's in there to keep the Glazers happy, and he doesn't understand football himself, and he's been trying to do a job which he isn't qualified to do. He's been criticised by the Manchester United, all the pundits, the players who have been there and won all the success and all that, and now he's given them the role. And I think for Man United, similar to what they've done with Solskjaer, is they've given him the role on the back of a feel-good factor. And they think if they bring Ferdinand in and they bring Darren Fletcher back in as a scout and all that stuff, they'll get the results. It's not as simple as that. And I think Man United are so far behind the other teams that they need more than faces and more than publicity. They need people who know the job, who understand the roles. And they also need to go in. They can't just go and sign the best players, because they've tried that with Di Maria and that era of players that tried to sign. They need to make a format where they go and they say, right, similar to Ajax, we need these sort of 4 players, this core of the club, and then we can add a bit of experience. Because for, I think, 5 years now, the transfer policy has been a disaster. It's been, right, all the money on that failed. Right, let's go and try this with a new manager, and they'll do the same again this summer. They'll try and get stars rather than team players and produce it like that.
Well, they may have trouble attracting them if they're not in the Champions League. So
you think what Man City did? I mean, when they want to make changes in the technical area, like they got the best in, like, Barcelona. Like this, do you know what I mean?
But like a bottomless pit of money, they were able to go and buy. Well, Man United aren't exactly.
Right, so
I
don't think money is an issue.
Money's not the issue.
Sure.
It's just they're just making it, like Donny said, like it's like an emotional decision. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Get someone who's played for the club so long. This phrase knows the club. Like, what material difference would that make for your ability to do the job? Go and talk to Juventus about getting a top player. Does the fact that you know Manchester United going to make that deal go better?
Yeah. I think sometimes you can know the club too well.
Exactly.
You
know all the
if you've
people
been, if you've been,
involved,
you know the people involved. You
Yeah.
know, you need somebody, you need expertise. What Richard just said, you need knowledge, you need expertise, you need people who know what they are doing. And because if you want to catch up with the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool, all the other teams, because there's 3 or 4 teams ahead of them now. If you want to catch up, you've got to make up the deficit by quality and by knowledge. So going down that route, I think, would be detrimental to where they want to be.
You'd be learning about the job in the job.
On the job,
as opposed
yeah.
to getting to someone who's done it at the highest level for a long, long time and has a proven track record that they can do the job. They're just, he's a novice in this area.
We'll watch this space.